Anyway, well, thank you guys for Chris, stop it, for joining me tonight. Hopefully you guys are starting to get a little bit out of the weekly trainings that I've been trying to do. I've been trying to keep them focused on, you know, subjects that I think that are pertinent to everybody and what they need right now, just by looking at, you know, talking with and looking at people's businesses, because I get to see it from the number side of things. And so you can kind of get a sense of where people are at just by the numbers. So, so tonight we're going to talk about something that's really, really important, and that's overcoming objections. And I really get a sense from, you know, I posted that poll in the event the other day that people find it hard to overcome objections with people. You guys agree with that? Do you guys find that a hard part of booking shows is overcoming that? Okay. So personally, I think that that part of booking starts with fear. Okay. There's a fear there. There's a fear for a couple different reasons, because number one, we're afraid if we push past somebody's no, that they'll be upset with us, right? Do you guys feel that? Do you guys ever feel that way? Like if I question why they're telling me no, then they're immediately like not going to want to have anything to do with me, right? You guys ever feel that way, Nikki, Laura? Yeah. Okay. And I think sometimes that the fear holds us back in a lot of different ways. But mostly with bookings and recruiting is really where the fear comes in. So you have to learn how to overcome that fear in order to kind of progress, because, you know, you get stuck and you can't stay stuck forever if you want to have a successful, healthy business. So I think really most of our fear comes from belief in ourselves or lack of a belief in ourselves, that you can and deserve to be successful in Pampered Chef. Okay. So I think that let me ask you guys, there's 3 of you on here. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you absolutely believe in yourself, 1 being you do not believe in yourself, where is your belief at? If you had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10.
I would say about a 7.
About a 7. Okay. Nikki?
I mean, I would say my belief has changed because my why and a lot of things have changed. So now I have no problem. Sorry, y'all. I have a baby now.
He's a cute baby.
Yeah, he's a new baby. He's 5 months. It changed. I can say mine's changed now, so it's not. I think I know how to overcome objections, I would say.
Okay. Heather, where do you think you're at?
I think I'm about a 6.
Okay. So honestly, you know, I have sat, oops, there went something from the refrigerator. I've sat at around a 7 for a long time. Okay. And I know you guys would probably think, oh, Becky's like a 7. Yeah, I am, believe it or not. You know, it's hard even for me to push past people's objections sometimes, because I don't want to come off as that pushy person. You know, I don't want to come off as being too in your face, like, oh my gosh, you know, having the answer for everything. Does that make sense? But what I find is that most of the time when people give us a reason for not doing a party, they're thinking in terms that we're on different pages, basically. Okay. So you're maybe on the left page and they're on the right page, and you have to meet in the middle of that book somewhere. Right. So a lot of times when people are like, oh my gosh, I'm too busy, you know, we ourselves, when we're planning our schedules and we're asking people for bookings, we typically don't tend as to consultants to think of, okay, this person's going to book a show within the next 2 weeks, right? Most of the time we're thinking 3 to 4 weeks out. Normally in my business, I like to do things 30, 60, 90 days. That's how I've always been raised in retail. And so I'm normally thinking 30, 60, 90 days out. I'm not thinking 2 weeks for now. But that person on the other page over here called our customers, most of the time they're thinking, when we're talking about scheduling a date, they're thinking immediately. Okay. So they're thinking, okay, I'm going to book this show and she's going to be in my house in the next week, right? Or the next 2 weeks. And so sometimes it's really not about overcoming an objection. It's about communicating things properly to people. Okay. And so I think that that has to start with the initial asking them to book a show, making sure that we're effectively communicating what we're trying to convey to them. Okay. So sometimes it's a matter of us not saying, okay, you know, hey, Nikki, would you like to book a show with me? It's, hey, Nikki, I have a date in 3 weeks that I would love to fill. Can I put you on my calendar? Okay. So it's more giving them a little bit of extra detail to help seal the deal in their minds to know that, okay, this is okay for me to give permission to say yes. Sometimes they just need that extra permission to say yes. So I think most commonly, that's probably the most common objection, is people saying, oh my gosh, my schedule's too busy. Would you guys agree? Is that the one you hear the most? Okay. And so I think, like I said, I think if we start conveying with clear communication our expectations, you'll see that objection start to filter out, okay? Meaning that you'll get more bookings because people aren't questioning when, okay, when you're going to book a show. But ultimately, I really feel like objections and being able to overcome them go back to belief. So I want to talk about belief for a second. Okay, Angie just joined us. Angie, I want to find out from you, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you do not believe in yourself, and 10 being you absolutely believe in yourself, where you are at with your business.
Well, I would say if you would ask me a month ago, I probably would have been at a 3 or a 4.
Okay.
But since I've done this recent party, I'm feeling a little more confident. I have four parties booked, met. So I'm excited.
Clapping and cheering. That's awesome.
What
happened?
Oh, I'm probably at a 7.
Okay. And so what happens though is you'll see when you start to overcome, because you had to overcome some objections, right? We had a conversation and we needed to wrap ourselves around, you know, overcoming those feelings, because there's a lot of feelings of fear there. There's feelings of failure there. There's lots of feelings. And so once we start to push those feelings down and let our belief come up, right, the results start to happen. And that's exactly, you're the perfect example. I'm so glad you hopped on, of seeing what can happen in a matter of 30 days when you actually start focusing on believing in yourself and pushing all that other crap out of the way. So I want to share my screen with you guys, because I know you've heard me talk about the belief triangle before. But I really feel like, you know, you have to see it in order to really understand the triangle. Oh, that's the wrong one. No, it's not. This is the right one. Okay. So up here at the top of the triangle is our belief. Okay. So these are the feelings that we have about our personal success. These are the feelings that we have about our personal lives. These are the feelings that you have about yourself as a person. And so down here on this corner is your actions. And so Angie, a month ago, was up here. We were doubting ourselves with belief, right? And so our actions become very minimal. We don't do a lot in our business to push forward, right? We think about giving up, right? We get to that place where it's just not healthy to stay. And so when you have no action, that's going to reinforce your results, meaning that you're not getting any bookings, right? Your calendar stays stagnant. You're not getting the leads. You're not getting new contacts. You're not getting new customers, the lifeblood of our business. And so when you're not getting those results, that reinforces your belief. So it's this vicious cycle that we go through. And so once you start to tweak this up here, your belief in yourself, knowing that you can do this business, then you're willing to step a little bit outside of your comfort zone. Okay. So, you know, they say that everything that happens in your life that is uncomfortable is always going to be outside of your comfort zone. Okay. But that's where the results come from being one step out of your comfort zone. That's where the results start to happen. So you have to be willing to decide as a person, as a business owner, because you all are, how uncomfortable are you willing to be? You know, is it, okay, today I'm willing to take 5 no's. You know, today I'm willing to call 5 people. Today I'm willing to green dot message 10 people. So once you get to the point where you're telling yourself it's okay for you to do this, right? It's okay for you to pick up the phone. I know I can do this. And you're reinforcing that belief in yourself. It's time for action. So it's actually time to pick up that phone and start making those phone calls or sending those messages. Now, this is the part right here where a lot of people stop, because what happens is you start taking action and you get that first no or that first objection. And then what happens? We stop, right? We stop doing it because all of a sudden this big fear comes up from our stomach. It swells up and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. Why am I doing this? So those actions now reinforce your results because you've taken your actions. You're trying to book shows. Your results, you start getting no's. And when you get a no, it reinforces that belief, that back here in the back of your head that's telling you, you can't do this. You've now reinforced it. But when you're willing to step a little bit outside that comfort zone and push past those no's and push past that fear, the results will start to change. Okay, but you have to be willing to keep putting in the action to get the results that you need to reinforce your belief. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah? Okay. As triangle. I don't care what you have to do. Draw a triangle right in front of your desk. Something to just keep visual that you have to keep doing these actions to get results to reinforce your belief. Once you start outside of your comfort zone a little bit, the more and more that you do it, the more and more comfortable you will get with hearing the word no. Your actions will then be, okay, you know what? I know I've got this. I need to call 3 more people and I know I'm going to get a yes, right? And how good do you feel when you get that yes? Angie, how good did you feel when you got that first yes?
Oh, I have my audio on. You probably hear lots of noise. I'm sorry. I did not even realize I had it on. Very, very good. I felt really great.
Awesome. And that's exactly what you needed to keep you going, right?
Yeah, it is. It is what I needed because I was about ready to just quit. Yeah.
Exactly. So, you know, part of what we like to do is challenge each other and push each other. And, you know, so I set a goal for yourself. Don't set a goal for how many yeses that you're going to get. Set a goal for how many no's you're going to get. Okay. Does that make sense? When you set a goal for no's, okay, it means if you contact enough people, eventually you're going to get that yes. It's a lot of numbers. If you believe you can't get it, or you can't get a book, you believe that wants to go, you've already determined your own future. You've already, right? And what steps where you're at. So why do I want to talk about overcoming objections? It's really simple, right? Because if you don't believe in yourself, you are probably 85% less likely to objection when they tell you no. Whereas if you have some belief in yourself and some faith in yourself, and you're not afraid to hear that word no, you're going to keep going. You're going to dig a little bit, right? You're willing to ask those tough questions. You know, I think about it with, you know, I know you guys have heard me talk about a baby before, right? And when a baby is first learning how to walk, you know, there's lots of things come up and get in the way. Just learning how to move, and they're kind of guiding themselves in, you know, this looks like 25,000 feet from, you know, there's a toy, you know, standing up and going around the toy first. If they weren't be willing to follow or
Breaking up bad.
I'm breaking up. Am I up with anybody else? Okay. Can you guys hear me okay? No.
You're kind of echoey.
Echoey?
Yeah. And like, it sounds like feedback to yourself.
From my side. Is it better now or no?
No.
Hold on one second. Video is in it down.
Huh.
Okay, is that any better?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Huh. It's amazing when you yell at people to get off the internet. Okay, so where did I lose you guys at? Did you guys hear me talking about the baby at all?
You were breaking up really bad during that.
Okay, so let's go back to there. Okay, so I want you guys to visualize a baby, okay? Visualize the baby that's just learning how to go from crawling to walking. So, you know, when they're typically learning how to go from crawling to walking, it seems like everything is in the way, right? You know, the chair that's like 5 feet high to them probably looks like it's like 25,000 feet high. The toy that's right there in the middle of the road looks like they can't get around it, but if they maneuver just a little bit left or a little bit right, they can get around it, right? Everything looks like a roadblock for them. But just think about if a baby were to just stop and to decide, you know what, I'm not going to try to maneuver around this, or I'm not going to try to get up and stand because I'm afraid I'm going to fall. Would you ever walk? Would that baby ever walk? Babies are resilient, and so are we as people. You know, we have to go through lots of things in life, lots of failures. We have to push through our fears and lots of different things. And when you start doing that, you get a little bit more and more comfortable having that little feeling of fear or having that little feeling of failure. You get a little bit more comfortable with it. And then you're willing to do things that you typically wouldn't do. So that's kind of where objections are. You have to be armed and ready with the right words when somebody says no. Okay, you have to be willing to push past your personal fear of trying to get them to a yes, because that starts with us, right? That starts with each and every one of us to decide whether we're going to let no be no, or we're going to dig a little bit and see if we can't get past it. So I want to ask you guys, I'm going to give you some of the most common objections, okay? And I want us to kind of have little role play conversations. So I'm going to pretend I'm like the customer, and I want one of you guys to pretend you're the consultant. And I want us to see how we can work through these objections together. Okay, so who wants to go first? Because you're all taking a turn.
I'll go first.
All right, so you're calling me, and you're the consultant, and I'm the customer, so go.
Hi, Becky. How are you doing tonight?
I'm great, Laura. How are you?
Do I have how did I get your information?
What's that?
How did I get your information?
You met
I
me
don't
at
need
the event.
So, how's that weather? I have a personal goal this month, and I'm trying to fill my calendar. How did you feel about having a party with me?
Oh, well, I would really love to, Laura, but my schedule is so busy right now.
So is mine. Did you know that we can work around busy schedules? We could do something quick where you don't have to worry about it. We could do Facebook, catalog, just so that you can reap the benefits of having a party, but not necessarily hosting a party.
Oh, really? So do I have to have this party like right now?
No, you don't have to have it right now, but we can get one set up for you.
That would be awesome. Okay. So again, she was kind of playing off the fact that we have other ways of booking shows, right? We have virtual parties. They could do a fundraiser. They could do a catalog show. There's a million other types of shows that we could offer a customer if their answer to us is my schedule's too busy. So really good job, Miss Laura. Is that your little one? Aw.
Yeah, he got.
All right, Nikki, you're up. Nikki, you're the consultant, and you met me at a party last weekend. Are you there, Nikki? Come in, Nikki.
Say it again, Becky. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You're the consultant, and you met me at a party last weekend.
Okay. I didn't hear. I missed something.
So you're going to basically we're going to have a conversation, okay? You're going to pretend you're the consultant and I'm the customer, and you're calling me on the phone, okay? To try to get me to say I was a potential, okay? I was a maybe at the party last weekend, okay? Mm-hmm. And you're calling me to follow up.
Oh, hey Becky, this is Nikki from Pamper Chef. How are you?
I'm good, Nikki. How are you today?
I'm fine, and you? I'm just following up from Sue's party last week, and I know you said that you maybe undecided about having a party, so I was just calling to wait a minute, Becky. I'm sorry. Just calling to follow up with you to see if you had any questions or anything that I can help you with.
Well, Nikki, I would really love to have a party with you, but all of my friends are so broke.
Okay, this is what we can do. We can, a couple ways how we go about it. We could write a list of your friends. Wait a minute, Becky. Ouch, your nails.
Puppy problems.
Yes. So, okay, you say your friends are broke. So what we can do is we can sit down, write a list down. Maybe it's some people that you haven't considered. Maybe if your kids play sports or people on your job or old classmates. You can write their list, and then you can call them and just say that you are thinking about having a party and see if they are interested.
Well, that sounds like a really good idea. Yeah, I'm sure, because I was just thinking of my, couple friends that I know that are broke. So yeah, that might be a really good idea. Okay. So again, this is all part of that conversation, guys. I like how Nikki overcame it. There's a lot of ways you could probably overcome the friends are broke conversation. How else would you guys overcome that? No. Anybody else have another idea? Sorry, I'm looking down through my notes.
I mean, I think for me, it's more so building a relationship with that person and not so much like forcing them to have a party. Me, I always find out like what is it that they want, what's on their wish list. Because a lot of times when I find out whether if it's a stone or the rock or whatever it is that they want, I'm not necessarily at the moment just going trying to book a party, because some people you got to walk them there. And then a lot of times people have to trust you. If they trust you, then it'll make it easier to overcome objections.
Okay.
So that's my biggest focus, is building relationships, knowing that, okay, I can say this, I've been in the business 2 years. My family, it took them 2 years for anybody in my family to book a party with me. Not to say, because I've always, once I got into something, I put my 100% in it. But if people are looking at it, and I know a lot of what I get is, oh my goodness, Pampered Chef is expensive. Some people feel, oh, I could go to Walmart. But it's not for me to try to tell them not to go to Walmart. Some people have to see it. Like, okay, in me studying the products, so it's like now I'm showing people, okay, you went to Walmart getting that spatula, you want to replace that spatula 5 times in a year or 2 years. Where if you buy our product, this is what happens. So I'm showing people I guess I would say the worth of our products.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And because I use them, so like I go Facebook Live, or when they come in my house, they always see me use the product. And I'm not.
Let me ask you guys this. What are the products that people typically associate Pampered Chef with?
Stoneware, cookware, like our higher price point, like the
Exactly.
rock.
Okay.
They see that kind of stuff and you think that's way too expensive.
Exactly.
A lot of times what I do is I'll just kind of throw in there that, well, like 70% of our catalog is actually under $30. So what I could do is I could highlight a recipe that's going to show like the rock crock or one of those power tools. And then I'm going to have all these other little gadgets and stuff in there as well.
Absolutely.
So sometimes I point out the outlet, but not so much. But now that we can actually add them to shows and stuff, I may do that a little bit more, but a lot of times stay away from the outlet. But
that is exactly part of, this is exactly how you move through this objection. Okay. First, it's Nikki's piece with her guest list, right? Because again, typically when we think of having a party, we normally in our brains have that list of 5 or 10 people immediately in our heads that we know we're going to invite, right? And we typically know their financial situation and where they're sitting, right? Most of us know, oh my gosh, she's, her husband just lost their job, or, they're losing their house or their car or whatever. They don't have money. They eat box mac and cheese every night or whatever the case is. You typically know the situation of those 5 or 10 people. And so then we move into Heather's piece. So there's lots of moving parts with this objection, is that we as the Pampered Chef consultants, typically people know us for the higher end products, the cookware, the stoneware, the knives, the things that do cost money, right? All of the essential pieces that everybody needs to have in their kitchen, but not really, they can't afford it out of pocket. So we focus on it's actually 74% of the catalog is under $30. Okay. 52% is under $20. But again, people don't know that unless we communicate those numbers with them, right? So the third piece of this, I want you guys to think is this. If they are financially in a hot mess and can't afford, because this is what the friend is saying, to do this, then why better of a reason to host a party with me? Because I can show them how to put dinner on the table for under $5 for a family. You know, I am bringing value to them. You know, lots of times I would even go I would go as far as saying, you know, Nikki, nobody's under an obligation to purchase anything. I want them to come and have a great time, learn some recipes. Let me show you how I can help to save them money, right? Because what happens is we are big prejudgers of people's situations, right? So just like recruiting, we automatically assume somebody wouldn't be interested in Pampered Chef. We automatically assume that our friends wouldn't be interested in coming to a party because we think they're in, you know, financial straits when really sometimes they're not. You know, there's a lot of people that put on these fronts out there, right? They say they're flat broke and they just are not flat broke. Let's face it, those are just the frugal people that like to save money. So I say you let those people determine their own future. And that's what we have to get across to that host that has that objection with thinking her friends are broke, is you bring me the bodies, I'll bring you the value. Okay. So, all right, Heather, you're on my screen. So I guess it's your turn. All right. So I am a a booking lead from like a year ago, and you're just working down through your contact list, and you're giving me a call.
Okay. So, hi, Becky. This is Heather from Pampered Chef. I was just following up on a lead from so-and-so's party. I know that whoever called you about a year ago, that wasn't a good time, and we just never really got to get a date together. And I was just wondering if maybe your situation has changed and if you'd like to possibly book a show with me in the month of April.
Guys, those were really good words if you weren't paying attention, just saying. So, hi, Heather. Oh, my gosh. Man, it's been forever since I've talked to you, but, you know, we lost our home and we're living in an apartment right now, so I really don't have a lot of room.
Okay. Understandable. I live in an apartment as well. However, if you wanted to do something virtually, we can do that. I've actually started Facebook Live parties, so it'd be like about a half hour to an hour for like a little demo for you and your friends. It's also a good way to tie in your friends that may not be local as well. And then it would, you know, keep from having everybody at your apartment or having to clean and straighten up and all that stuff too.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So she takes it the virtual route, which I love, okay? Especially if you are somebody that kind of is split between doing virtual parties and cooking shows, it's really nice to have that flexibility. Now, if you were like me and you were focused on doing cooking shows because you can't stand doing virtual parties, I can't stand them, guys. I'll just be honest with you. Then my way of overcoming that objection would be one of two ways. Depending on the weather, we could always take it outside, right? So, you know, starting in the end of April, I'll be starting to book grilling shows for early spring and into early summer and summer. And so I would offer, you know, do you have an outdoor space that we could use? The other way you get past this one is, so let me ask you this. Do you have a friend that would maybe like to co-host and you can maybe have it at her show? What do you think about that? I have turned no's into co-hosting parties probably 6 or 7 times this year, okay? And every single last one of those shows has worked out to be over $1,000 because 2 hosts are better than 1, right? And what do 2 hosts bring? 2 hosts bring completely different groups of contacts and lots of booking. So that would be my other way that you could potentially overcome that objection is by offering that person to co-host a show with her mom, her sister, her best friend, whatever. Okay. Really good job.
Becky, can I say this?
Sure.
This is something that I've been doing, and even like my team been doing, because especially when you do Facebook Live and they see your kitchen, and the first thing they may think like, oh my goodness, my kitchen isn't as big as hers, or so I'll even offer them to host a party at my house.
Absolutely. Yep. Let me tell you, I love times 1,000 opening my home up for people to have a party in my house. And why? Because I don't have to pack my crap. I know where everything's at. And if they want to see anything else that I'm not bringing along, it's here in my kitchen.
Right.
So it is the perfect, absolute perfect way to do it. Absolutely. It's a good reminder, Nikki. Okay. So let's see. Miss Angie. Miss Angie's next. Let's see. I'm looking through my list. Okay. So let's see. You met me at a vendor show yesterday, and you're just following up with me on the phone.
Hey, Becky, this is Angie, the Pampered Chef consultant that you met yesterday at the vendor show. How are you today?
I'm good, Angie. How are you? Oh my gosh, I didn't expect for you to call me.
Well, I just wanted you to know that your name was drawn, and that if you hold a show this month, that I will give you an extra $10 off. How does that sound?
Are you serious? I would love to have a show, but I don't have any friends.
You don't have any friends? Everybody has friends. We have coworkers. Do you go to church? Do you hang out? Do you have a social club? Do you bowl?
Of course I never really thought about all those places, Angie. Is that something that you could maybe help me with?
Oh, I would help you make a list. Yes. Yep.
Okay. So again, it goes back to host coaching, right? This one goes directly back, turns in a circle, and goes right back to you as a consultant. Okay. So I tell you that if your host, your potential host, knows that you're going to have her back 100%, right? And you're willing to put in the hard work, not really hard work, but hard work to help her put together her friends list and who to invite, you're getting buy-in from that host because she doesn't want to feel left, right? So many times we book shows, we don't host coach. We have these flops of shows because we haven't done our job. Our job is to host coach them. How many times have you guys heard me say it? Host coaching is where you make your money at, right? You pick up your paycheck at the show because it's exactly what happens. I will tell you the times that I haven't host coached before I didn't have a system in place for my business. That's when I had a very, very high cancellation rate. Probably 1 out of every 3 shows would cancel on me. I would get to shows and I would maybe have 1 or 2 people there. You know, and here I typically drive a good amount of time, at least an hour to my shows because I do a lot of shows in West Virginia. Is it conducive for me to drive an hour one way, an hour back for 2 people? Really, financially, it's not, okay? But you still do it because you're trying to start your business or you're doing your business. How much better would it have been if I would have taken, you know, an extra 2 to 3 hours, because that's really what it boils down to. For each host is about 2 hours of host coaching to have $1,000 show. Every show can be $1,000 show. You have to put the work and energy into it, okay? And that starts with a system for yourself and for your business. So absolutely, Angie, you hit the nail on the head. You guys are really good with these. So my question is this: are we really struggling with belief? Okay? You guys are giving me the words right back. I would tell you, to me, it sounds like you're struggling with belief in yourself and overcoming that no. Because you guys know what to say. It's just a matter of letting this come open and actually let the words come out to see if you can change that no into a yes, right? So our businesses I would say a lot of us go through this period of time, especially if you've been in the business for a year and a half, right around there, or if you've just promoted, or you're like me and you've been at the same level for 25 years, it feels like. We go through this process where it's growth, you hit a plateau, you have a decline, and you rebuild. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys this. Let me share my screen. It's another little cycle. It's called the cycle. Oop. If I can move this and move this. This is called the cycle of direct sales. Can you guys all see this? Whoop. What in the heck? My screen keeps moving. That was really weird. Oh, there it goes. So this is the cycle of direct sales. So typically when we start out as a consultant, we go through what we call the growth period, okay? Normally your first 90 days is all about gaining momentum and growing your business. Sometime in there, typically about, 90 days or so, you start to hit a plateau in your business. So sometimes when we don't make a decision right away or react to that plateau, what happens is our business goes in decline down here on the bottom, okay? Because we haven't made any decisions. We haven't taken any risks. We haven't tried to overcome those objections. We haven't started to believe in ourselves. So we're in decline. So from decline, you typically make a decision at this point in your business. The decision is either you're going to rebuild your business or you're going to stop. How many of you guys have been in this spot right here in decline? You're not quite sure what you want to do. You know you can do it, but you don't quite believe in yourself enough to know you can do it, right? You know you can do it, but you don't believe that you can do it. Make sense? So decline, on the other side of decline is rebuilding. This is the spot, this is that sweet spot, okay? This is that spot that when you're willing to push, when you're willing to step outside of that circle and be a little bit uncomfortable, on the other side of rebuilding is growth. Okay? And then once you've gone around this circle 1 or 2 or 3 times, eventually you do decide whether you want to push forward or give up. So when you get to growth that next time and you hit that plateau, you don't wait for your business to decline. You start rebuilding it. Okay? For some of us, it only takes 1 cycle of this direct sales, okay, before we hit growth and we stay there. Like I said, sometimes we can go around 2 or 3 times. But what we want to get you to the point is when you're in this circle, that when you get to plateau and your business is stuck, we don't stay there. We start rebuilding. We skip this decline section, which I call it more the woe is me. We feel bad for ourselves. And we just start rebuilding our business. Whoop. Click the wrong button. So what stage do you guys feel like you're at in that little circle? Anybody willing to share? Sorry, I got uncomfortable. Anybody feel like they're at the rebuild? Who's in the plateau? Anybody in the plateau? Where you've had growth, you're in a plateau right now? Okay, who's in the decline? Kind of the decision point.
Rebuild areas somewhere in between there.
In between there? Okay.
Yeah.
Laura, where do you think you are? I think she's froze. Oh, she moved.
I had my mute on. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm kind of like in decline to rebuilding.
Okay. Nikki, where are you at? Nikki's in growth, right?
I'll say I'm in growth and plateau right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's a hard spot to be in, especially when you just promote. It's a kind of awkward spot for someone to be in because your team can be at the growth stage and your business, your personal business can be in a plateau. And it's a matter of now you have to align a team's business and your own personal business to go in this cycle together. Okay. So me, when I look at this right here, I definitely see that I'm in a different spot than where my team is. Okay. My team right now is kind of in a rebuilding stage. You know, we have some new people on the team, which brings some new energy. We have some people that have been with us for a little while that were kind of on the fence and not sure of what they wanted to do, decide that they wanted to, you know, make it happen and just go for it. So we're kind of in the rebuild where I'm on the other side over here and I'm in a plateau with my business, believe it or not, right now. You know, my schedule, yeah, I've got bookings on my calendar, but you guys know me, I like to have at least 10 to 12 shows a month, okay? This month I was full of cancellations. Next month I only have 7 cooking shows on my schedule, so that's about 5 lacking from where I want to be. And I'm finding it really hard right now to get bookings, okay? So I go through these things just like you guys. So I'm choosing, instead of going down here, I'm choosing to rebuild. And so it's all those steps, right? It's all these little baby steps that we take together is what pushes us forward and propels us on to the next part of the circle, okay? So I challenge you guys to think about where you are. Think about where you just told me you were in that part of your business. Think about your belief in yourself and how you can overcome that lack of belief in yourself. Think about stepping outside that comfort zone and just going for it. Because if you don't just go for it, where are you at? Where are you going to be? You know, it's kind of a decision point for most of us that we have to go through. You have to decide when you're in that decline, how you want to move forward. You want to move backwards and give up, or you want to move forwards? And so much of it starts with the objections, okay? And be willing to hear the word no when you're asking people for a booking. I will tell you that it doesn't get any easier to hear no. You get used to it, but it doesn't make it any easier. And so much of that is because we take it very personally when someone says no to us, you know, especially if it's your friend, your good friend, or a family member that says no. But again, I want you to think about the fact that they're not saying no to you. They're just saying no to what you're offering them at the time. And when they do say that no, how can you try to overcome that no? So how many of you guys think that you could overcome a no? How many of you would feel a little bit more confident than you did before we did this training? How many of you would feel a little bit more confident and trying or attempting to overcome someone's objection? A little bit more? Okay. So I'm going to challenge you guys. I want you guys to push yourselves. Look, Laura's like, oh, crap. What was that face, Laura? I want you to push yourself, though, okay? I want you to step outside of that circle and see how uncomfortable you can make yourself with trying to overcome somebody's objection. I'm going to post later on the team page. I have a document, okay? And this might make it a little bit easier for you to have right in front of you, especially, you know, I know it's easier for me because I've been doing this for a while to just come off the cuff with people, you know, or because I've done it so many times to just automatically try to overcome an objection. Some of us need to have the words in front of us, kind of like a script to use, or a guideline to use so we don't forget. And so I'm going to post some very common objections on the team page and the words that you can use to overcome those objections. Okay. Again, if you're messaging with somebody, it's a little bit easier that you can kind of copy and paste, change a couple words, and bam, you're done. But I want to see how uncomfortable you can make it. So I want for the next, let's see, what's today? Today's Thursday. By Monday, I want to see how many times you can overcome an objection. Every time you overcome or try to overcome an objection, I want you, if it's in a message, I want you to screenshot it, okay? And I want you to post it on the team page. And I'm going to give you an entry, and you guys are the only ones. There's only 4 of you because you were on live that are going to get put into a drawing. And we're going to do a drawing for a new spring product. If it's a conversation that you have on the phone with someone or a text, you could screenshot too. If it's a conversation, just kind of tell me what their objection was and what the final outcome was, okay? And just make sure to tag me every time you guys post something. So much of what we do in this business has to be done together, guys. You know, and know that none of us are any different than each other. You know, we all go through these periods in our business, just like I showed you that cycle for direct sales. Every single last one of us go through this cycle over and over and over and over again. No matter where you're at in the circle, you can't stay. Okay, eventually you have to make a decision of where you're going to be. So it sounds like most of you guys have already made a decision of what you want from your, you know, that you want to continue moving forward. And so now it's time to get a little bit uncomfortable. Okay. So who has questions? Nobody? Laura doesn't. Heather doesn't. Nikki doesn't. Angie doesn't.
I don't have questions. I would say for myself, what helps me even when I find myself getting to that bookings isn't where I want, I always go back to my why. Why did I join the business?
Absolutely.
I know now what I have done is certain bills I have tied to.
You took my advice. Yay!
I did. I mean, I had some, but now I put more bills to it. So it's making me now I know that
you're accountable.
It's right. And I mean, with me, because I have 8 people under me, it's different because now it's like, I know I have to really now fight to stay balanced, because it's easy, like when you newly promoted and then you still have a team, and at the time still learning myself and now learning the director role. I had to find balance, and I always go back to my why when things get tight, or even, I mean, not to say so much of objections, because I believe that just because a person told you no doesn't mean no. I look at it as no right now.
Right.
And sometimes you can't, and I was telling, matter of fact, having this conversation with one of the girls on the team today. Some people just want to keep giving you excuses why they don't want to book a party.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then that's where, for us to say, okay, if you build your business strong and build relationships, and I'm not, like I said, you may go through a period where you may not have no bookings. And then I've learned, okay, do a Facebook party yourself, or do a party at your house to get yourself back into, But just knowing that just because somebody tells you no, don't take it personal. Because like I said earlier, my family, it took them 2 years, and now it's to the point that they like, can I book a show? And you know what I'm doing? I'm purposely making them wait, because it's not to say that now my schedule is getting to the point where it's full. So they'll say to me, like, can I get on your calendar? So it's more so once you make that decision, you go back to your why and then start running it as a business. For the first year, I ran it as a hobbyist. Now I'm running it from a business, so they see it, and it's like, wow, once they start seeing the change in you mentally, you know, everything is like, it's my business. So to the point, even disciplining myself where, okay, and everybody, at the moment, your focus may be different. So mine's right now, I can't, when we have family gatherings, my discipline is until I get my calendar where I need it to be, I can't attend the parties or the gatherings. So I'll just say it all goes back to, why did you join the business and what you want to get out of it?
Right.
And
you know, and our whys change. Okay. So, you know, 7 years ago, my why was completely different than what my why's changed probably 3 or 4 times in the last 7 years. You know, my why now is completely different than what it was in the beginning of this business. But what I'll tell you, what hasn't changed is the fact that I treat my business like a business. Okay. And so I think about it. If you truly believe that this business that you have in front of you, okay, that you're a part of is your business. If you were a box store and you were the owner of that box, you have to go and unlock the door every day to open that store up, right? You have to go physically there to work every single day. And that's the difference between a business owner and someone that's dedicated to their business, or somebody that's a hobbyist. And it's okay to be a hobbyist, but not if you want the results that you have in your mind, okay? So if you have the why is, you know, I want to be able to save money to quit my job, okay? So what is that plan? What is the plan that you're putting together for your business to get you to the point where you can quit your job? You have to have a plan to go with that why. They go side by side, okay? So if your plan doesn't really align with your why, then it's time to revisit one or the other. And like I said, that changes over time. Your desires change for your business over time, and that's okay. You could go from somebody that wanted to do this full time to somebody, I just want to be active, and that's okay. Only you get to decide that, right? You're the only one that can decide what you want your business to look like. But the challenge is, if you want more from your business, how are you going to make it happen if you don't step inside of that box every single day to work on that business? You know, our hours, doing our work in this business is not optional. It's not optional, right? Our hours are flexible, but working our business is not optional if you want results. You can't work it both ways. Okay. All right, guys. Well, if nobody else has any questions, I thank you guys so much for joining. We have one more, I think we're almost toward the end of the month. I think we have one more scheduled for next week. And then I'm going to revisit. I'll probably put a poll out there to see if everybody wants to continue doing these into the month of April, because in my opinion, there's always something that we can learn and train on together. I think that it's healthy because it does keep your business in front of you, right? It gives you a platform and a chance to ask questions. Hopefully you're, listening to each other and hopefully, getting some ideas from each other. So, I do have shows all weekend. So I have a show Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If anybody needs me, though, I do have time Saturday evening because I have an afternoon show on Saturday. If anybody needs to schedule a Zoom in the evening, I can definitely do Saturday evening. So, All right, my lovelies. Well, kick butt. We are, what's today's date? Like
22nd.
22nd. Oh my gosh. Don't forget that this month you get to earn the Help with Cancer items when you submit $7.50 in sales. So $1 donation because you're earning it goes to American Cancer Society because you earn it. And then you'll have those products in your hands to be able to also, push for April to get May bookings with. So, all right. You guys have a good evening.
You too.
Okay, thanks, Beth.